A very good afternoon. Welcome to BBC London. I'm Thomas Magill. The family of a young woman who lost her life after an e-bike caught fire while she slept says her death should not be in vain. Sophia Duarte, who died last year, would have been celebrating her 23rd birthday today. Instead, her friends and family are urging people to sign a petition calling for tighter regulations for electric bikes and their batteries. It's a campaign being supported by London Fire Brigade. Tim Muffet reports.
It's very difficult to live without her.
Sophia was staying at her boyfriend's flat in London. On New Year's Day last year, a bike that had been converted into an e-bike caught fire in the flat hallway. Sophia was 21 when she died. Today would have been her 23rd birthday. Her mum Maria and friend Alda set up a petition last month, calling for urgent action from the government to implement regulations on e-bikes and e-scooters and the batteries and chargers sold with them.
If we can change the law, it means that her death was not in vain, because at the moment that's how we feel.
E-scooters and e-bikes can be an environmentally friendly, safe way of getting about. They're powered by lithium-ion batteries, which contain a large amount of energy in a small space. But if a cell in a faulty battery heats up uncontrollably, this can happen. Thermal runaway, demonstrated here in a lab.
The riskiest items are things like conversion kits that are used on bicycles to make them into e-bikes, and also using where you mix and match your bits, such as a charger with a battery that's not meant for it. Always buy from a reputable seller. If you're buying online, that's even more important because your product may be not compliant to safety standards. It might even be a counterfeit or a mismatch of parts.
As well as tougher enforcement of quality control and safety standards, the petition is also calling for clearer guidance on safe handling and potential dangers.
This could be preventable. If people knew the dangers, they wouldn't leave the bike at the entrance, blocking the exit, so people can't get out. That's exactly what happened to Sophia.
Last year in London, the number of fires involving e-bikes and e-scooters went up by 60% compared to the year before. There was a fire on average every 2 days.
Do something. Prevent his death. Make sure that she didn't die in vain.
Tim Muffet reporting there. A murder investigation has been launched after a man's body was found inside a vehicle at a shopping centre car park in Stratford. Officers were alerted by Hampshire Police on Tuesday after a member of the public raised the alarm. One man has been arrested and police are working to confirm the victim's identity. Triple amputee Mark Umrod says his prosthetic legs have been returned to him after they were stolen from his car in West London. The former Royal Marine said a thief took several bags from his vehicle, which was parked in a hotel car park on Tuesday night. All of the lost items have been returned after someone found them in an alleyway. A handful of trains ordered by South Western Railway in 2017 at a cost of £1 billion have finally started running 4 years after they were due. But it could be some time before all 90 of the new trains are fully operational, as Paul Clifton reports.
Getting ready to depart from Waterloo Station. You won't find the 10:25 to Windsor on any timetable. That's because it's an extra service. One round trip a day for 4 days only, not advertised anywhere. This train is being launched with no fanfare. You could say hidden away, but some enthusiasts still found it.
Being an enthusiast, it's always good to be on the first service, just to say we've done it, we've got the T-shirts and we can tick it off our list.
A bit late, but I think they're smooth.
Did you have any idea this was a special train today?
I had no idea.
Most of the 750 mainline drivers who will run them have not yet been trained, and each will take 8 days. You're using one train a day on one route for 4 days only.
For now. This programme is all about taking baby steps in the programme. We want to get it in on the infrastructure, see how it works.
The next station is Windsor and Eton Riverside.
The RMT union held 78 days of strikes about the role of guards on these trains. And they were riddled with faults and failures, most of them to do with the software. For years, South Western Railway wouldn't accept these trains for service. Most of these trains are in storage. 1 in 3 haven't even been accepted yet. Eventually, the 90 new trains will run to Reading, Wokingham and all the South London suburban services. That will take up to a year and a half. But after this week, none are scheduled. It's fair to say they won't be arriving at a platform near you anytime soon.
Paul Clifton reporting there. Now next, meet the busker hoping to perform at all of London's underground stations to raise money for charity. There's 272 in all for Dan Treadgate to visit, and Gopal Verdi joined him when he was less than halfway through his mammoth challenge.
Ask me how. Have you seen this busker play outside your tube station? Dan has made it his mission to perform at all underground stations in London. That's a whopping 272. He's already completed the Piccadilly line, and with just over 100 stations under his belt, he's about to complete the Northern line.
I actually teach guitar, and one time one of my students cancelled their lessons, so I thought I might as well go into town, go to the street and film a session of me busking just to make up the money I didn't get for that lesson. In the end I thought, oh, that's actually quite cool. I was thinking what are some ways I could go out around London and just play at different spots and take footage, and I was thinking, oh, actually the London Underground, that sounds like a good idea. I decided to turn it into a fundraiser, so all the donations will be going to a London homeless charity called Glassdoor. I was just thinking that I'm busking, across London and throughout every underground station. It makes sense to make the fundraiser about raising money for the homeless. I'd say the place where I got the most donations was Tooting Broadway, and that was great because that was the 100th station. It was New Year's Eve as well, and a lot of people came down. Initially I thought going into Zone 1 would be the best, like going to places like Leicester Square, but in the end it's places in the outer zones that have been the most fun and the most generous.
Documenting his journey on social media, Dan has become one of the most recognised buskers in London.
Station 102 of 272.
Gopal Verdi, BBC London.
And that takes us to the weather with Kate Kinsella.
Good afternoon. Another cold day today. Bright start though, loads of sunshine around first thing this morning, but since then the cloud has been increasing. It's turning greyer through the afternoon. Still icy conditions in some spots. This is in St Albans a little earlier. Now what's happening? The high pressure to the west of the UK just slipping a little around the top. Some slightly less cold air which originated in the Atlantic, picking up moisture on the way, bringing the cloud. Temperatures reaching 6 Celsius. Still quite breezy today. That northeasterly wind still going to feel cold. Now overnight we're going to hang on to this cloud. Still quite breezy once again. Those things combined mean the temperature should stay above zero, between 3 and 5 Celsius, the minimum temperature. Cloud thick enough to produce the odd spot of rain, but should be largely dry. Now for tomorrow, it is going to be a grey overcast start and stay pretty grey through the day. Maybe 1 or 2 brightest spells in the afternoon. Still breezy. Temperatures tomorrow 8 Celsius. Factor in the wind chill, could feel a degree or 2 chillier than that, but slightly less cold than today. Saturday, some brighter conditions, but Sunday a couple of fronts will start to sink south, and that's going to introduce another blast of cold air from the Arctic. So actually the temperature will drop, likely to wake up to a widespread frost on Monday morning. Some sunshine, but temperatures a little colder.
OK, that's all from me. Assad will be here at 6:30. The BBC News app has all the very latest on today's stories, as well as a piece from the Royal Botanic Gardens in Kew, where 74 new mysterious plants and fungi have been discovered in the last year. But for now, from all of the lunchtime team, have a lovely afternoon. Bye-bye.